guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to The Sims 4, and welcome back to another speed build. I'm really excited about this one. This one turned out really cute. I know I say that about everyone, but some of them just make my heart happy, and this one just makes my heart happy, which is kind of funny because it started really rough. This one I didn't really have an idea for. I had kind of a layout in my head, and I had kind of like daydreamed about it at work all day. I was like, oh, I have this idea. It's going to be really cool. You're going to enter in through this entryway and go into the kitchen. It's going to be kind of a spiral. It's going to be really cool. It's going to look really cute. And the problem with doing that in reality is that when you daydream a layout in The Sims is sometimes you forget some of the rules about how The Sims works. Now, I'm sure some people don't have that problem, but I have like very little object permanence in general, and simply the rules of the game do not stick in my head. So when I went to actually build it, it got really complicated. I got kind of confused, and honestly I got a little frustrated with myself, had a little bit of a knock in confidence, and it took a minute. But it ended up being a good thing because when I bulldozed it and I started again with a much simpler layout, the idea came together much better. Like, the whole vibe was supposed to be grandma chic. The whole vibe was supposed to be like kind of little rundown home that someone is very clearly putting a lot of love and time into, but maybe hasn't gotten it all fixed up yet. Like, you know, where it's like, hey, your front yard is still absolutely overgrown and full of like junk, but the inside's cute. You know, and like, you know, eventually the front yard will be really cute, but like that's a thing to tackle in the springtime, you know, or maybe in the fall when it's a little bit cooler. You don't tackle it in the middle of summer, so maybe your house inside gets cuter than your house outside first, you know, or things like that. Like, you know, when you buy a fixer-upper, we see this all of the time on like, what Chip and Jo, what is their show called? Oh, it's called Fixer-Upper, there you go. And that kind of idea, and the simpler little like more cabiny vibe versus the more, I was going for a little bit more of like farmhouse at first, like, you know, the 2-story with the porch and like the split up rooms and, you know, like that kind of vibe. This one is almost a little bit, I would almost call this one like cabin on the lake vibes. Like, it is almost bare bones enough that it doesn't feel like a full-time dwelling, but in a good way. Like, this house kind of gives off like part of it was built before plumbing was a thing, like indoor plumbing was like available. And then they added like a bit when like indoor plumbing was built. And I love it. I love the way it came out. And it really fit with this sort of like grandma chic, shabby chic, fun like collected pieces, little bit hippie kind of vibe we were going for. I just think it turned out so cool. And like I said, it was a little bit of a surprise because I'll be honest with you, there was a time during the layout situation where I was like, nah man, this ain't gonna work. And even once we started getting kind of the more fun layout, there was a little bit of time where I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's coming together. But it does. And it actually is like pretty super functional because it has a living room. It has a dining space. It's not really a dining room. It's a table kind of stuck behind the couch. But hey, that counts. It has this really fun little kitchen. This kitchen has like its own little vibe. And then a full bedroom and a little bathroom. A little cute bathroom too. Like an adorable little bathroom. So, you know, everything your sim needs, totally great. Even could have laundry on the lot if you want. I did put laundry accoutrement. That's been my word lately, accoutrement. I don't even know, like, if I'm saying it right. I just like it. It's a fun word. Anyways, it has all the laundry stuff, except a hamper, so it won't generate laundry. So they're just cute. They're just for cute right now. But if you wanted to, you could put a hamper, like, in the bedroom. There's space for it. There's actually, like, probably the perfect space for it. And then you could play with laundry if you wanted. Although I will say laundry is, like, kind of bugged, so like at you know, at your own risk. I went with these sort of cottagey windows. I really liked the I guess it would be called fluting maybe in the glass there, and I liked the idea of the shutters because Chestnut Ridge is really beautiful, but it's very dry. It honestly reminds me a lot of where I live. It's a little bit different, but it reminds me climate wise a lot of where I live. And I'll be honest with you, the climate is it can be a little bit harsh out here. I live in a high desert environment. There's blowing sands, there's high winds sometimes, there's storms and things, and shutters on especially older windows can be nice. I have a single pane window still in my kitchen. It's an original glass window from when the house was built. I don't want to get rid of it, but I do sort of panic every time the wind blows because I'm like, man, that is a fragile little window, that kind of thing. So I was like, shutters would be nice. The fluted glass looks very old, but not in like a bad way. It looks like it's been maintained, and I liked the idea of someone fixing up this house, keeping that stuff, like keeping the what would you call it, the character of the house. I also ended up, it took a little while, I also ended up like picking a little bit more of a rundown siding because, again, it's one of those things where it's like, you'll get to that. Siding is expensive. Siding is hard to clean. Siding usually takes, like, its own time to get cleaned up. So I was like, well, maybe they haven't cleaned that up yet. Roof is pretty good because I wanted this to be a livable structure. I didn't want it to look like she had, like, just moved in and was having an issue. And I didn't want it to look like they were running, like, trying to live in, like, something uninhabitable that should be knocked down. I just wanted it to look like it needed some love. I really love the way the fencing turns out. Get to that later. And the outside, I was really trying to give that, like, like, sometimes in movies when they're trying to be like, this character's tough. They've lived in a tough environment. And so they do, like, the dirt lot with the chickens scratching. I was trying to do that vibe with the outside a little bit, but I still wanted it to be cute. So there is, like, going to be a tree, and there's going to be, like, a little picnic space, and there's going to be some gardens, but I also put chickens in so that you could have the chickens scratching on the cobbles kind of thing. And I think it's going to turn out. I really like the way it turns out, and I think it gives you a lot of opportunities for different, like, gameplay with the chickens and with the garden, and obviously with the laundry. If you want to be brave, you could be brave. And I put the picnic blanket out there, you'll see here in a little while, but that space is kind of more or less just like a placeholder. It's like a fun, like, you can use the picnic blanket, it's good for a lot of things, but also, like, if you wanted to, that would be a good place to put, like, a little artist's place out there, or like maybe put the woodworking table out there. I do also have a flower arranging table on the lot, just because anytime I put a garden in, I'm always like, well, what else could you do with the garden? You know, like, you can grow your veggies and stuff. That's great for the cooking skill. Might be good for the mixology skill if you're gonna, like, kind of bank those back and forth if you're, like, a chef or something, you know? But you can also grow flowers in the garden, and you can also, like, do the, like, what's the word for when so you can splice plants? There we go. And a lot of that is really fun with the flowers. Or, like, if you're, like, super into growing ambrosia or something like that. You know, there's lots of options with the garden. So I wanted to give you the flower arranging station to give you one more option with the garden. It makes that just even more multifunctional, and it gives you something to do in the lot. And now that we have businesses and hobbies, you could put a selling table out on this lot really easy. In fact, that would be a really cool thing to do on this lot. And you could, like, sell your bouquets or sell your produce. Produce is the word. My words are hard today, apparently. I love this color of the shutters too. I went with this sort of, like, it's like kind of evergreeny, kind of tealy. I'm not really sure where it falls. It's almost too green to be blue and almost too blue to be green. It's gorgeous. And I almost never use it, and so I was really excited to get to use it. It looked really nice on this little white house. Got a little chimney, which means when you start the fireplace, the chimney will poof smoke. Sorry about the pink lines. I keep accidentally turning on the, like, little markers for the business, and I don't notice them right away. And also, I don't know what button I'm hitting to turn them on. Like, honestly, they just keep showing up. I think I turn them off at some point, or they get turned off at some point. But, like, I have done this in so many builds, and I'm just like, I don't even notice it half the time because it's just the pink. Like, I don't clock into it, but they do exist, and I'm sorry about that. So you will see the pink lines on and off for a while. Here I am trying to figure out the fencing. This is what I was saying about how much I love the fencing. I just love the whole vibe. It's rickety, but in, like, a cute way. Like, yeah, your sim might come in and eventually fix that. That would be dope. Maybe they'll put in a different fence. Maybe they'll put in that cute little picket fence from, like, I can't remember which pack the picket fence comes from. This one is a werewolves. This uses about a dozen packs. A million packs even. A dozen is an understatement. And I am sorry about that, but I think I need to do a base game build here soon. And honestly, I've been thinking about trying to do limited pack builds. I think it'd be really fun. Like, do, like, a base game in this one, a base game in that one. But there's, like, I feel like I want to do them justice and have, like, a good idea and not just go in and be like, I'm going to do this thing. So I've been kind of holding off because, like, you know, I want to do it right. I want to do justice to the packs and to the base game. So, but I do think that would be coming up soon because I would really like to do stuff like that. I think it's just fun to challenge yourself in ways like that as well. Oh, I put Patchy on the lot too. I forgot about that. I thought he was a cute addition, and you can befriend him and he'll come alive and help you with things. I will admit, it's very hit or miss for me. Oftentimes, he's just alive, and I was like, oh, hey, that's cool. And then sometimes I can be really, really nice to him, and, like, nothing happens. I don't know. But, supposedly, pretty consistently, he will come alive and help you with your garden. Here I was trying to figure out some sort of gate situation, but all of the gates looked too put together for this, so I ended up just, like, getting rid of it. I was like, you know what, the fence just ends here, and it's fine. Like, the chickens will pretty much stay on your lot. It's not real life. You're not worried about hitting them in. And honestly, I don't have fencing all around my property, by any stretch of the imagination, and we used to let the chickens out and they were fine. They stick around. Now granted, if my chicken coop was like right up next to the road, I would be more concerned. There's like a hill. There was like a distance, you know. And hopefully I will have chickens again soon, and they will also learn to just chill. They're gonna be backyard chickens, closer to the house. I'm very, very excited. And when I say soon, I mean hopefully sometime this year. I have a lot going on right now. I really want chickens, but I'm like, let's be smart here. Do you have the time to introduce chickens to the property? I mean, maybe, but probably not, right? So here I'm starting to figure out the layout. There was a moment of frustration in here, I'll be honest with you, when I was like, oh, I want this all to work and I can't get it to work right. I had to set the build aside for a couple days because I was just like, I want the table to look intentional and not just like shoehorned in. I don't want it to be super tight. It ends up super tight. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. It ends up pretty tight in here. But we hit a point where it works a little bit better. There's like this moment where it starts to feel like, okay, this is tight in like a cozy way and not in like a, wow, if you had made this one square bigger, everything would work kind of way. But I like really didn't want to mess with the roof again. So I opted to not to. I love the way these windows look. I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, but Amanda, they're way too close to the fireplace. No. Because there's going to be bookshelves. Okay, here's where this is. Okay, we had a moment. I had a lapse. I got like a little bit too attached to this couch. I can't even remember if I end up using it. I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm pretty sure I end up going with a different couch. Moreover, I tried to pair it with a chair that it didn't pair with, and I kept trying to make it work. And I tried to make it work for like a while. Bear with me. The living room does eventually come together, but this chair combo situation here, it goes through many iterations. I can't even remember what we ultimately come up with. I just remember it being cute. But yeah, this is one of those couches too that look like the pattern, super cute, but it looks like it would be the most uncomfortable couch in the history of ever, right? And I, like, you can put pillows on it and stuff and it helps, but just like everything about it is so straight and square. Like even the back, it has no like poof at the bottom to like where you could lean. There's no lean, you know? There's no lean whatsoever. So this couch looks really uncomfortable, but the pattern is very cute. Yeah, here, bear with me. I'm going to go through about a million patterns here. Can we talk about how cute some of the patterns on that chair is though? I want to use it more often because it's got really cute, bright colors to it, but it's just kind of hard to fit in builds, at least the way I build. Some people I'm sure could do it just perfectly. Here I wanted to do something big on this wall, but I opted against it because it made it really tight. I ended up just putting a little bit of wall art up here eventually, and I think it works so much better, especially when you consider the pattern on the wallpaper itself, and the fact that like realistically in a house that we're kind of angling towards like a certain era, realistically they probably have a photo rail, which I think it's called a photo rail. Picture rail, that's the word we're looking for. As soon as I said photo, I was like, that's not right. A picture rail, which, for those of you who don't know, a picture rail was a piece of molding on a wall. They're usually taller than I am, so I would say probably about 5.5, 6 foot, probably right around 6 foot. And it was a place to specifically hang photos. It had hooks in it. It was so you didn't damage your walls. It's super pretty. It's super old school. And a house like this would absolutely, like, probably have had something like that. But that is not a thing we can do in The Sims. I don't think there's any wallpapers or anything like that that would simulate a picture rail in any sort of, like, effect. But I encourage you, I implore you to Google it because they are really cute. And they are practical. You don't punch holes in your wall. You have hooks. Some of them have hooks that move around too, which is really cool. So you can, like, move your hook, like, side to side on your wall and then hang a bigger piece of art or a smaller piece of art or hang art in a different place. They're very, very neat, and a house like this would absolutely, I think, have had that. Here we're finally starting to figure out colors a little bit, and then I finally just am like, okay, that chair, I don't know if it's going to work. I start playing with it more. Like I said, it's definitely a trust the process moment. I think we end up going with that chair, if I recall. A little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, I was going to say stable. Stable isn't the right word. Subtle? Subdued? Maybe subdued is the word I'm looking for. Just a little bit more muted. Makes a little bit more sense here. And then, of course, I'm moving with all of my pillows over and over again because, of course, I had to put the pillows down before I was committed to the couch, before I was committed to the whole thing. Because your girl can't live without her pillows. Okay, that couch that just came up briefly in the thing, it's like the maximalist pack couch. I have never managed to make that work in a build, but I want to so bad. What do we think about the idea of doing like an entire room around that couch? Because I want to use that couch. It's so bright, but I've just like, I think it's too bright for me in general. It's like a wonderful couch that I want to use it. Here, we're putting the bookshelves. Oh my gosh, you guys, these would be so cool in real life. So I have bookshelves. The problem is when I moved in, there wasn't enough room in this room to put bookshelves, and that's still true. So I have piles of books. I did finally put like a little shelf like in front of my door, so my door doesn't open all the way. Don't judge me. But I have piles of books, and I have books in drawers, and I have books on the little shelf, and I have books in my desk. But here's the problem, is I also have books downstairs. I have taken over an entire closet because I brought bookshelves with me, and they are full. They're chock-a-block full of books. Oh, and I have books above my head, too. I forgot about that. I just looked up and saw more books. I have a problem. So anyways, what I'm saying is a bookshelf like this would be fabulous. I would have that sucker filled. I would still probably need more bookshelves. Like, I would need more bookcases probably in the bedroom or something. That is the other thing. There's no dedicated office space in here. If your Sims had a laptop, they could work at the dining table. And to be honest, in a house of this size, that's probably what I would do. Because realistically, if I'm living like way out in the country like this, I'm probably not spending a ton of time on the computer. Because this is, although actually this house is closer to town than my current house is. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I was going to say is I'd probably be spending all of my time outside. Which is also true. I do spend a good portion of my time outside. That's why I end up recording these like late at night when I want to go to bed. Because I will be spending all of my time outside doing farm chores and stuff and enjoying. And then I'll come in and be like, oh, I'm ready to record. And I will record before bed. And the next thing I know, it's like midnight. And I have to get up at 5 a.m. And then I question my life choices. But say I love doing these. I love building and I love talking to you and sharing them. And I also love being outside. And I mean, you know, the answer here, if I was like independently wealthy, if I made mailbox money, if you would be to do YouTube full time. But like, a girl can dream. Put a little bit of fancy stuff around the fireplace here. Put a chicken and then the poker bits to like stoke the fire and all those bits. And I put a little bit of wood in there too. It's kind of mossy. Realistically, I don't know if that particular swatch would burn very well because it looks like it's probably quite wet. But it's The Sims, so we're going to ignore that. And look at this cute little dining table setup. See, it's like kind of compact, but it's not bad. And then I angled it with 3 chairs and I put the 4th chair in the corner because it gave us a little bit more space. But if your Sim wanted to have guests over, you could pull the chair over. I started doing this more often in small builds because it's pretty realistic. Like, as we're talking right now, I'm sitting in a dining chair. It's at my desk. It hasn't been at the dining table in like, I don't even know how long at this point. But like, it could easily go back to the dining table and be a dining chair I could share, you know? And so I've started doing that in my builds more often where like, if I know the desk is going to be in the same room as the dining table or be really close, I will just use one of the dining chairs. I used it. I did this not too long ago in a tiny apartment, and it turned out really cute. And I like this idea in this house of like, well, we need more space. Though, you know, it's a single Sim living here, or maybe a couple. They don't need 4 chairs all the time, so they just pull one of the chairs out in front of the bookshelf. It's fine, and then they'll just pull it back in when they need it, or maybe they use it to get to the top shelf. You know, who knows? But it's a nice way to still have like your full dining set without needing to have your full dining set like out always. And then I got to use one of my favorite lamps there on the little sideboard. I love that little like patterned lamp. It's so good and simple. It's so good and simple. Here I am fussing around with all the windows, trying to make it work in the kitchen because I didn't like the height that the cabinets had to be with the window. So I kind of cheesed it a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. I made sure there was still a cabinet to cook on too, side note, but I am cluttering the kitchen a reasonable amount. Not too bad. And I used older appliances, but in cute colors because I was kind of imagining, like I said, it kind of looks like the kitchen and the bathroom came at a later time than the rest of the house. So I was like, well, if the cabin itself is like an 1800s cabin, but someone moved in and like maybe like walled in the back porch was kind of my thought. And that's where they put like the kitchen and the bathroom. Well, then that would be a little bit newer. Like that was probably like 1940s, 1950s, maybe 1920s. It depends. But let's say let's split the difference and say like 1930s. Well, then, you know, a wood-fired stove still would make sense. The like old Frigidaire type thing. It's not a Frigidaire. Other options are available, but like it looks like a Frigidaire. Let's be real. You know, they'd probably have that kind of like maybe like early 1950s, I guess, would be kind of like when they started doing this. Think Green Acres. If you ever question what I'm trying to do, like, honestly, more than I would like to admit, my style is vaguely Green Acres. And if you don't know what that is, Google Green Acres. It's a television show. It's an old television show. But it's a funny show about two city people who moved to the country to become farmers, one begrudgingly, and they managed to buy the most rundown, ridiculous farm in the history of ever. And it appears to be almost cursed with the level of can't get this farm put together. It's slapstick comedy. It's funny. It hits a little bit too close to home occasionally. Like, there's a door handle that falls off the front door constantly in the show. And I can't tell you how many times I have tried to fix my front door handle, and how many people have called me from my front porch and been like, hey, I tried to come in your house, and I'm holding your door handle now. I don't know, dude. The front door is, like, jacked. We don't use the front door. There's a rule in the country that kind of after you've come to someone's house, like, the first time, your friends and family, right? So you go to the back door. Deliveries come to the front door. Solicitors come to the front door. Those who are peddling the religion of the month come to the front door. But your friends and your family usually come to the back door. Usually do a little back porch sit-in, come to the back porch. If you have a side door instead, side door functions as the back door. And, so it's never been something I, like, super needed to fix. But, like, I really need to fix it at some point because it's silly. The other one that I find really funny is he's almost always fighting with some sort of water hose situation or, like, broken piece of machinery situation. And you know what? Same. In fact, literally today we had to go through, like, 3 different sprinklers just to find one that would work because none of them were happy after this wintertime. And the canal filled up this week, which is really exciting because I live next to the irrigation ditch. We call it the canal. And that's really exciting because that means I can run my pump now for, like, the pasture irrigation. All of the water troughs are on the house water, which is on the well. But the pasture irrigation is all on the pump. Garden irrigation is all on the pump. And so that's filled up so I can run the pump now. But I've realized I think just about every sprinkler in that pasture right now is busted. So I gotta go do a lot of fixing, or I'm gonna have a whole bunch of little geysers when I turn that pump on. So yes, I relate to Green Acres more than I would care to admit. And that was a little bit the vibe in this house. I was going a little bit Green Acres-y, but, like, not without, like, the cursed vibes of, like, things are never fixed. Like, in this house, things would be fixed. Here, I leaned in really heavy with the sunflowers, and it was at this stage that I decided this Sim really likes sunflowers, so I put sunflowers in a few other places to kind of make it work. I also put a clock up there. I thought it was cute. But I was like, this Sim likes sunflowers. We're going to do the sunflower bed. We're going to do sunflower pictures around. We're just going to make it sunny and yellow and pretty because, like, why not? Why not? Give me one good reason why a room can't be sunny and yellow. Now, admittedly, it might be a little bit harder to sleep in this room because it is a brighter color. But we're also assuming an adult Sim here, or a young adult Sim, or a teen Sim even, although a teen would be kind of young to be living on their own out here. But that's fine. It happens. The yellow, I think you would be fine, is what I'm saying. I think you would be fine. Like, I know you're supposed to have calmer colors in a bedroom, and yes, that's true, but I think you'd be fine. Also, it's The Sims, so it does not matter. It's The Sims, so it does not matter. I don't think it would matter at all unless you somehow set your Sim to dislikes yellow. Which, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I love yellow. I think yellow is possibly my favorite color. Yellow and green, I think, are two of my favorite colors. It used to be blue. I find blue most of the time. I love blue, don't get me wrong. But I love a good warm blue, and I found a lot of people really gravitate towards a darker, cooler blue. And that's fine, but it's just not my preferred color palette. I like warm greens, I like warm yellows, I like warm blues. Not a big red person, but I use a lot of red, which is interesting. I don't know. Someone psychoanalyzed that for me. Anyways, here we're trying to pick a rug. I went a little crazy with the rug. It's one of my favorites, and it was, does it fit? No, but is it cute? Yes, and does it kind of match? For sure. It's fine enough. It's eclectic, and I just liked the vibe of this room being, like, a little bit funky. Here we're doing, with a little bit of a chair rail, which I liked. It's a little bit simpler than in the front room. It's actually probably a little bit fancier on the chair rail itself, but obviously the wallpaper is not, it's paint is what we're assuming here. So, but it does match the chair rail from the living spaces. It's a different pattern, but it's still got the same vibe of, like, there's a chair rail in here, right? Which, why did we stop doing that in houses? It's so pretty. It's such a fun detail. We even kind of carried it into the bathroom with the tile. This is probably my favorite tile, the wallpaper, and also the flooring is so cute. I've been trying really hard to use more fun tiles. It's hard because I don't know how to do the fun floor tiles and then how to match it with any of the walls. Like, I haven't figured out how to do that. Match it with tile, match it with wallpaper. Would you put wallpaper in a bathroom? Does it matter in The Sims? Do you see the dilemma? And then I end up talking myself out of it. But I stuck with it this time, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Here I was trying to figure out how to make the garden look halfway decent. I will admit, the terrain paint, probably not my best work, but I was flummoxed. And to be honest with you, still a little flummoxed. I'm not sure how I could have made this, like, better. I know there's a better way to do it, but I hadn't quite worked it out. But it's okay, it's terrain paint, let's be real here, when you download it, it's going to disappear anyway, so do we care that much? I would love to care about terrain paint, I would love to care a lot, and obviously I care enough to do it in every speed build, but every time I pull one of my own builds off the gallery, it doesn't have terrain paint anymore, so, you know, maybe you can fix it. You can send me, like, a screenshot of how you do your terrain paint, and then I will steal it. I will give you credit. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding about the giving you credit. I won't steal it, is what I was kidding about. Yeah, here you can see some of the stuff I was talking about at the beginning, some of, like, picnic, space and stuff, kind of how it's gonna all lay out. Here I'm stealing some debug stuff, and the reason I'm stealing some debug stuff is because there's some really nice grasses from this world in debug that just were gonna help make it look a little bit more overgrown. I was playing around with the idea of some junk in the yard, but I opted to, I don't think I did too much junk. I did put some, milk bins around, which I just love those. We actually have, like, 2 of those on my porch. It's really cute too, because one is for my mom's side of the family, their dairy farm, and one is for my dad's side of the family, their dairy farm. Neither of which are still in the family, but I think it's very cute. I also have an old, like, little single-wheeled push plow. It's so cute. It lives in my garden. Anyways, here you can see the grass. And I was just trying to, like, make the lot look like it fit. Like, can you see in the background all the grass? That's just what I was hunting for. And I kind of didn't feel like I should make you pay for the landscaping anyway, because I'm intentionally making it look overgrown. That feels a little unfair. So I did, yeah, I pulled some of that out. I pulled those mailboxes out that I love so much. It's sad to me that they hid them in debug. How fun would it be to have those mailboxes? I do put an actual mailbox on the lot, and it is separate. It is at the front of the house, because I kind of imagined those mailboxes are just yard art. Or, I was thinking about it, and this is not a Sims thing. This could not be a Sims thing. Oh, also those little flowers are debug, but they're yard art. They're super cute. I think they're debug. Here I'm just playing, ignore me. I was trying to figure out how this whole situation works. Anyways, the mailboxes, how cute would those be? And this won't work in The Sims, but how cute would those be as roosting boxes? Right? I know, how cute would those be? Okay, so anyways, here's the screenshots. I took about 1 billion because it turned out kind of cute. I will probably leave you to it because I've been talking your ear off, and I don't even know if I've made any sense, to be fully honest with you, because I've just been chattering. This is, if you've ever wondered what it's like to talk on the phone with me, you've got it. This is what it is. I'm a chatterbox. I always have been, always will be. But I really love the way this little guy turned out, and I hope you like it too. It was really fun. It was just a casual, like, I think this one took me like 3 days, but not like all day, if that makes sense. Look at all the pretty sunflowers around. I love it so much. But anyways, guys, I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, it's not I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. Next up is something Minecraftian, I think. And after that, more speed builds. I have a couple in the works I'm hoping to get done here soon that I think you'll really like. But anyways, guys, I think that's all for me. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah!